Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
Now, Marula Mining reported that lithium sales out of the country are set to begin this month.
It's incredible how quickly this has happened. You know, we haven't been speaking lithium in South Africa, and it's fantastic that you get an entity like Marula coming in and quickly turning it to positive account. And this must alert us to the fact that there's potential in old mining areas where people never used to concentrate on lithium. They were concentrating on other metals and minerals. But all of a sudden they find, wow, in the stockpiles, there's lithium. And not only that, but it's becoming the bonus for what will be an open cast mine eventually. So for the next 3 years, they think there's enough stockpile there to actually keep mining that and deplete it and take the residue off the pegmatite and then start working on the pegmatite to get hard rock mining going there. Lithium, we know the prices are tops. It's going to be a metal that's going to be sought after for batteries for a long time. And so we should be looking at those thousands of operations here that we see as negative. You know, they're abandoned, they're closed. You know, if we had enough smaller companies here that at least could get some funding, you know, they could be out there and they could be checking, because it's like low-hanging fruit. You know, all of a sudden you find what was a gold mine has other metals and minerals or has more gold. And, you know, you can see that the way they mined in the past leaves massive opportunities. So that must be the thing I think we should concentrate in the short term to get exploration going in old mining areas.
And in its January 8th statement, the ANC stressed the importance for South Africa to become a green hydrogen centre.
Yes, this was that January 8th statement that was quite long awaited, and you know, the document that came out that I saw was very attractive and colourful, 22 pages, and if you flip through there, you saw a nice heading on green hydrogen and how this should be enabled through support by the government. You know, so it needs government action to actually support it, as has happened around the world. I mean, if you look at the way green hydrogen is just soaring around the world, and in Africa, you know, our African partners here in this continent, they're shooting ahead of us. You know, you see what's happening in Namibia, you see what's happening in Egypt, you see what's happening in Kenya with Australia, you know, all over the place. There are things going, not just memorandums, but actual projects kicking off, which is what we should have been, because we were way ahead of the pack here. So I'm glad that at least they emphasized it. The National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, this document was under that naming. And it was good that at that level they're saying there's a lot of advantage here, let's go for it.
And Higher Education, Science and Innovation Minister Blaine Nzimande stressed the importance for collaboration. Yes,
so you know, you see that certain sectors of government are really focusing on it, but it's not a total focus, you know, and you've got to get it to cabinet level. We should be way ahead, because, you know, we've been producing green hydrogen in pilot plants since 2012. So, you know, we've been looking at this carefully because we've got the platinum side of it. There are all sorts of metals and minerals that we could go in for. And Blade Nzimande, the minister, was emphasizing that this can be a near-term technology. So in other words, we've got a crisis now. We've got to look at this massive crisis before we look anywhere else. I'm talking about the electricity problem. And we've got great coal people here. So they must go in and sort out the coal side of that very, very fast. And well, there's also other aspects to it. There's nuclear, there's even hydro. Sort out those as fast as you can. Optimize those. And there are teams of people here that can do it. There's no doubt about it. You don't need to have a worry about the expertise in coal and in power stations that are powered by coal. Coal-fired power stations, we've got massive expertise. And you could even draw on the diaspora. You know, people who used to work for Eskom now in Australia, I can think of a few. You know, they could come in online. There could be so much. It's just the political will. How are you going to do this? And the realization that, you know, Eskom's ownership is the state. So that is the shareholder. Now the shareholder has neglected Eskom. If this was on the stock exchange, even not as a private company, people would be watching it all the time, every 6 months. So like China, we need to put it on the stock exchange, have some of the shares go, so that you can keep watching this. And while you're doing that, you can't ignore what else is happening in the world. So you must go for this green hydrogen as well, because that's going to be your other solution. You've got to go on both sides of the road, move very, very fast, because if you just stay on the fossil fuel side, you're going to run into trouble because your exports are going to be discriminated against. As we already see with the aluminium, they're giving it a premium price if it's green. And they look at it, if it's not green, fossil fuel, now we push that price down. So places like Mozambique, they'll be getting better prices because they've got clean energy. We will not be able to get those prices because we haven't got clean energy. So we've got to realize that this is not just an isolated coal problem, it's a whole problem. And so we must look at everything and get the solution, but also look at the future, where there's so much collaboration. As you could see, when they gave these Higher Education, Science and Innovation Minister Blade, he gave all those inputs on what is available. Collaboration. The people were offering to collaborate right there. They were from all over the world. And that's what you can get in green hydrogen at the moment. And we must seize it.
Thanks for speaking with us,
It's
Martin.
a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. To subscribe to Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly, please email subscriptions at creamermedia.co.za.